Hey guys, this is EDM Soundworks, and we're back again for another tutorial, but this one was requested a lot actually. It's how to start making music. Uh, there's a lot of ways you can make music, but for people interested in electronic music, you have to use a DAW, and there are like three main options. Uh, Two for Mac, and one's for Windows. It's only Windows, the last one. So the first option is Ableton Live, and this is the one I'm using. Okay, first off, there's no difference between like the DAWs. It depends on your workflow and what like how you want to work. I just like the workflow of Ableton a lot. There's also, if you're using Mac, there's also Logic Pro X. Uh, This one is cool, and it's $200 to get started, so you can always like buy this one. And if you use GarageBand, it will be easier. Uh, and then there's FL Studio. This one is for Windows only, but I hear they will make a Mac version of it soon, but I don't know like when. The Again, it just depends on your workflow and how you want to work. There's a new one called Bitwig Studio, and it's basically made by developers of Ableton Live, and I think it has like a similar workflow, but like a bit extra plugins, or like they went and saw what like wasn't cool in Ableton, and they try to fix it in Bitwig. Again, it just depends on how you want to work. It doesn't even have a difference in the sound. The only difference is the number of plugins you get with the DAW, like the plugins that come with it. And again, I said I use Ableton Live. It is my DAW of choice. Now we're gonna talk about, now that you have a DAW, like you can go online and check every DAW's workflow and choose one. After you've done that, you're gonna need two things. Okay, samples, extra samples, because like the samples that you get with the DAW aren't really made for electronic music, and they're not as good as the samples you could buy. You just listen to whatever kind of music you like and type online the genre of the music, and you should find samples made for this kind of music especially. Okay, so you're gonna have to buy some samples, and the last thing you're gonna need is potentially some VST plugins. Okay, and again, this is the easiest way to start out. You just need a computer and some headphones maybe, so you can like really hear what you're doing. Alternatively, if you want to go like if it's set for you and you really want to go into production, I advise you to buy some monitors. I use the Yamaha HS80s, and they're very good. Uh, and again, there's a lot of monitors, and it all depends on your environment or your room where your studio is positioned. You can't get a big monitor for a small room. It just won't work. There'll be too much bass and noise for the environment. Again, so I'm just gonna go over the basic and essential VST plugins that, in my opinion, are essential because you will need them if you want to get serious. And some of them, like everyone uses, like Silent One and Massive. They are basic plugins. You can find a lot of like sound banks for them. You can get extra sounds. And again, when you're starting out, I don't think you'll be into sound design. Like you won't be as good at it, if that makes sense. You have to work hard to reach a point where you can just make any sound you want. So at first, it's just helpful to like buy some sound banks and just go over, like when you hear it, when you get a sound you like, just find out how it's made. Okay, so Silent One is the okay. It's the most basic one. It's the one that's most commonly used. It's just a basic synthesizer, and it has a lot of sounds with it, and you can find a lot of free sound banks and commercial ones as well. EDM Soundworks, we make a lot of sound banks for Silent One. You can check those out. The link will be in the description. However, uh, the like the presets that come with it are good. Like even just hear some stuff that you can like hear in songs. Like this preset, for example, that it's just like it has good sounds, and it's like a very basic plugin. So you can't go wrong with it because you have to have like a go-to plugin if you want to make sounds. And this is like a virtual analog plugin, so you can actually make all the basic sounds you need. It's it's easy to make sounds with it. Okay, and then there's Massive, which is like a more modular synthesizer. Like you can customize it more. Sound One is a subtractive synthesizer, so just make sound, make a like you choose with the oscillator the sounds, and then you use the filter to subtract some harmonic sound, and then you do some processing with the effects and stuff. But like Massive has a lot more effects, and it can make more like if you're into dubstep and that kind of stuff, you can find a lot more sounds, and it also has a lot of uh, sound banks and presets you can get. There's a lot of like the internet is filled with resources if you want to learn music and start making your own. Again, I'm just gonna go over this like real quick. You can find a lot of cool sounds with it. As you can hear, like the sounds are here like more suited towards electro house maybe. Silent One you can use it like for example for like deep house and more forms of like underground music. This one you can use it because the main idea behind synthesizers, you can make any sound you want, but some synthesizers aren't capable of making like the harder sounds that you hear, like hard bass lines and um, like the big leads are not like easy to make with a synthesizer like Silent One, for example, but they can easily be made with Massive. Okay, I think that's like the basic two you need when starting out. Maybe you'll need a good piano sound, but it, again, it depends on what you like, what kind of music you want to make. If just listen to the music you want to make, and you can get a feel of what are the sounds you're gonna need. If you're gonna need a piano, for example, just look for a piano. Download a piano plugin, and there are a lot of free like plugins as well. Another thing you're gonna need is like effect plugins. Uh, Ableton comes with a lot of effects, like the basic effects like the EQ, the compressor, the limiter. But I tend to use the wave stuff a lot. It's cool. It's simulations of hardware stuff as well in here, so you can get a lot of it's a big variety of sound. You can do like the possibilities are endless really, because there's a lot of plugins in there. And there's also the Ozone. This is a plugin I use for mastering. You can always, when you're starting out, again, you can always use the like the plugins that come with your DAW to master. But I highly advise for you to buy Ozone, invest in it, because it's a great plugin. Will help you a lot in your mastering. I actually have a tutorial on how to use it and get like the sound. You can get it as loud as you want, as loud as like you can hear songs on Beatport, and you can get it as loud as that, the songs you hear. So that's cool as well. And one more thing about the samples is you want to look for a sample pack that basically has like one shot sounds, like a kick, a snare, a hat, a clap, and possibly effects also. But you don't want to invest in a sample pack, especially when you're starting out. You don't really want to invest in a sample pack that only has loops in it, because it's not like highly customizable. It's not efficient, because when you have a lot of one sound, like one shot sounds, you can actually like build them on top of each other and make a new sound, and the possibilities are endless. Again, as I said, with music, there's no rule. That I highly advise you to use like samples that have one shots in them, sample packs that have one shots. Okay, this is basically what you need. Again, there's a lot of plugins out there. So when you're starting out, you basically need like a synth that can make cool bass lines, maybe, and possibly leads too. So then again, yeah, I advise you when starting out, Silent One, massive, and a couple of good like mastering plugin, and sample pack, and the last thing, some like audio processing plugins. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Expect a lot more tutorials coming soon. We'll be also talking about DJing, because a lot of people don't know the importance of DJing as an electronic music producer, and I want to help you guys start DJing, because when you DJ, if you have a track that you produced and then you DJ and you play it live, it will start to it'll be clear what you need to do with the track. And the second thing is, when you DJ a lot, you know what the crowd likes. Okay, especially in the music you love, you know what you look for in a track, and that this will help you improve your production a lot, and you'll narrow out the things you need to do to become successful at your productions. And also be talking about how to send your songs to labels, how to try to get signing on your track, and sell it on Beatport so you can kickstart your career and take it to another level. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe, like the video, and share it.